Hi guys, so this is part 3 of our Problems with Pronouns PowerPoint. This is the 5th time that I have recorded this part of the video because my cat keeps hitting buttons. So if you randomly see switching from screen to screen, that's why, and we're just going to roll with it this time around. So now we're going to talk about something called cases. Now, technically speaking, nouns have cases too, not just pronouns. But we use the same form of the words for regardless of grammatical function with nouns. So if I said the girl is walking across the street, well, the girl is the subject. If I said the gift is given to the girl, well, the girl is functioning as an object there, but it's still the girl. If I said the girl's gift, the gift is owned by the girl, but we still phrase it as the girl. Most nouns in English work that way. But before a bunch of changes happened in the English language, we had pronouns that were actually nouns used to have different forms for different cases. And over time, we simplified it. We decided that just was too complicated. We didn't want to do it, just wanted to use the same word for all of it. But pronouns and prepositions take forever to change in a language. And so the cases have remained in pronouns even though they don't exist in nouns because they're just so slow to change. So again, most cases have disappeared from nouns in English, but pronouns are slower to change than other words. So we keep those kind of three main cases, and there are others, but those are the three we're mostly going to talk about today, for pronouns, even though they're not there for nouns. So generally have three cases, as I said above, subjective, objective, and possessive. And so you use different words for if the pronoun is functioning as the subject of the sentence than you would if it's the object of the sentence. So if I said, I am giving you a gift, we are giving you a gift, that's in the subject. But I wouldn't say a gift is given to I would say a gift is given to me. I wouldn't say a gift is given to we, I'd say a gift is given to us, because me and us are the objective forms of the subjective pronoun, I or we. Similarly, if I'm using a pronoun to indicate possession, depending on if it's an adjective or just as a pronoun, it's a possessive adjective or just a pronoun, I would use different forms of what is I or me. So my, mine, ours, and ours are the possessive forms of your first person, pronouns in the singular and plural. You is pretty simple across the board. That word we actually, for some reason, have evolved. We used to have ye and you, and we used to have a third one too that I can't remember. But now we've really simplified it in the singular and plural, subjective and objective, it is you. And in the possessive, it is your and yours. The third person, singular and plural, is kind of one of the more complicated ones, and there's a chart on the next page that we'll look at. And then there's another one, the kind of weird case with who. Who in the subjective form is who. But if the who is the recipient of the verb, we use whom. So who is giving the gift? That's subjective. The gift was given to whom? That's objective. And if we're using possessive, it would be whose. Whose gift is it? So here's kind of a chart that you can use for reference. You can see that there are a couple here that we're not really talking much about, but you need to focus on subject, object, and possessive here. Don't worry too much about reflexive or possessive adjective right now. Those are things that either are a little easier to use, you don't use as frequently, or you're not likely to have very many points taken off. But if you do want to look into those more, you're certainly welcome to, and there are a lot of great resources on pronouns and pronoun cases out there. So another thing we need to take into consideration when we're talking about pronoun cases is compound structures, because this is where errors often appear the most. So let's say the sentence, my friend and I went to the park. Well, a lot of people would say my friend and me went to the park, right? Sounds better. Me normally follows friend, but it's not correct. And there's a couple of ways we can test it. The first is to split it into two sentences. My friend went to the park. Great, that works. I went to the park. Hey, that works too. So I is the correct way to go. The second way we can do this is to take my friend and I. You're talking about two people, right? So replace the compound structure with a plural pronoun. So we went to the park. That sounds good. Us went to the park. That doesn't sound good. Well, us is in the same case as me, so now we can go back and we know that me is incorrect. We know that we was correct, and we is in the subjective case, so we know the correct answer should be my friend and I went to the park. And that takes us to the end of the Problems with PowerPoint's presentations. Of course, I'll be looking for these more in your paragraphs, and hope you guys have a great week, and I look forward to reading what you wrote.